Hey guys, this is Joel from the Fincastle Pokemon Gym. I thank you for checking back this week. We just had a quick turnaround last week and not enough time to get a video ready. But hopefully what I picked for you this week will make up for that because it is a labor of love. My son Logan's favorite character growing up has always been Feraligatr, which grew from the first Pokemon video games he played. And then as we got into the trading card game at the end of the Diamond and Pearl era, and as Heart Gold Soul Silver came out with all the primes, which are to date some of the coolest artworks the game has ever done. And to make it even better, Feraligatr Prime was really good with its Rain Dance ability. It did what today's Excalibur does. Logan and I both used it and won at a huge variety of events, and with it in several different types of decks. Fast forward to now, there has been a swath of unplayable Feraligatr cards, which I won't go into, but he has never received an EX, a GX, a V, nothing since the Prime. But the Temporal Forces Feraligatr at least gives us something we can use. When exploring ways to use Feraligatr, I did run across a list that finished like 130th at the Los Angeles Regional. So I tried that deck, and as I've said before, copying a list online without knowing what is behind it isn't always the best practice. Whether it's my playstyle or the creator used Feraligatr more situationally, I don't know because I have no idea who he is. But every time I played it, it played like a Palkia V-Star or Radiant Greninja list, which again may be from how much I played Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX in the last format, but there were a lot of games where I never even got to a Feraligatr, so to the drawing board I went. To show you where I ended up, we're going to have to look at some cards. Let's look at Feraligatr first. He is 180 HP Stage 2, weak to lightning, and has a 3 energy retreat cost. He has an ability and 1 attack. His ability, Torrential Heart, says you may put 5 damage counters on Feraligatr, and if you do, his attacks do 120 damage more. Remember the word attacks, plural, and we'll come back to that in a second. Feraligatr's main attack is Giant Wave, does 160 damage, and you can't use it again on the next turn, which is a condition that only resides on the active Feraligatr, so if you switch him out, you can reset that condition. But with the boost from Torrential Heart, Giant Wave deals a clean 280 damage, which is enough to get the basic EXs and almost all of the V-Stars. This skater's got some friends, actually lots of them, so let's just look at them one at a time. The first one is Relicanth, also from Temporal Forces. Relicanth's only purpose here is his ability, Memory Drive, which allows your evolved Pokemon to use its previous evolution's attacks, thus the plural when talking about Feraligatr's attacks. So with that in mind, looking at his previous forms, we'll start with Totodile. Totodile has 1 attack, Big Bite, that does 10 damage for 1 energy and prevents the defending Pokemon from retreating. I know you're saying 10 damage, big whoop, but add the 120 damage from Torrential Heart, you've got 130 damage and no retreat, which looks a little bit better. Moving along, his next stage, the Stage 1 Croconaw, has 1 attack, called Reverse Thrust, another 1 energy attack that does 30 damage with a hit and run condition. Again, adding that 120 damage from the ability gets you to a 150 damage hit and run. When you take the attacks of all 3 Pokemon, they deliver quite the arsenal to Feraligatr. Remember I said he's got a lot of friends here, and the next one is Munkidori from Twilight Masquerade. Munkidori brings the ability Adrena Brain, a great name, Pokemon Seattle. It says if he has a dark energy attached, you may move 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Most importantly here is the ability is stackable. And with that in mind, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down yet, I'm going to explain it to you. Every time Feraligatr uses his ability, he gives you 5 damage counters to play with on your side. One Munkidori with a dark energy attached can move 3 of those to the other side. 2 Munkidori lets you move all 5 off, and this accomplishes 2 different things. The first is it adds 50 more damage to Feraligatr's attacks, which when using Giant Wave takes you from 280 damage to 330. And what does 330 get? That's Charizard EX, Dragapult EX, and Gardevoir EX, the big 3. And don't forget the other numbers too. It takes Big Bite from 130 to 180, reverse thrust from 150 to 200, which is enough to get any of the two prizers like Squawkabilly X, Rotom V, or Luminion V. The second thing it accomplishes is it cleans all of the damage off Feraligatr, which allows you to use the A-Spec Survival Brace, which in effect is like the ability Sturdy, meaning that no matter how much damage your opponent hits you with, you survive with 10 HP. And with two Munkidoris in play, you can move off 60 of that damage and activate Torrential Heart again without knocking yourself out, which you can do. Sometimes you have to combo those previous evolutions attacks to get your knockouts, but any combination of them will two-hit anything in the game. If you really get strapped, you can use Munkidori's attack Mind Bend, which does 60 damage and confuses the defending Pokemon, but that's not recommended. That's kind of more of just a desperation move. The biggest thing to point out is the lack of energy acceleration in this deck, which if you get a quick second turn Feraligatr isn't usually a problem, but to get him charged and energy onto Munkidori, you do need a little bit of help, which comes in the form of the Technical Machine Turbo Energize. It is searchable with Arven, so I included only one, but that's easily changed if it's more your preference. I often attach it to a Munkidori and have him do that, especially if you go second, but from there it never seems that hard to stay in front of the attachments for the rest of the game. If you notice on the list, I only run 3 Feraligatr because I'm getting multiple attacks out of 1, and if they are knocked out, I have both Super Rod and Lana's Aid to get them back. They also let you get your energy back. As far as the Radiants go, I went with Alakazam, so that if you end up with some wasted damage counters somewhere on their side, you can move them to a different target, giving you basically another 20 damage to add to your attack total in those situations. I can make arguments for almost all of the Radiants, as Serena can help you heal your Feraligatr, Greninja can just help you draw a little bit more, as would Venusaur. The Radiant Blastoise and the Radiant Charjabug could get more damage counters in play, and the Radiant Charizard could be a good backup attacker since I've got Luminous Energy in here. Speaking of that, I've got 4 of them because they supplement the Dark needed for Munkidori, but they also can be used on Feraligatr. Just remember, never attach a second one to the same Pokemon because they will cancel each other out. It's just like having no energy on. I know that's a lot of stuff, a lot of moving pieces. It's not as crazy as it may sound. And keep in mind, everything here is a single prize Pokemon, so you do have some leeway about how to approach most of the format decks. That prize trade is going to be in your favor, so a little bit of patience pays off. As always, if you see anything here in the list you have any questions about, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll be glad to elaborate on anything else that I did not touch on here in this part of the video. I think that should cover the major part of it. Let's watch it in action and see if that demonstrates it a little bit better. This match is against Charizard Pidgeot with Entei V, which is actually how I prefer to play this deck as well. They won the toss, they went first, had a pretty standard turn, just ending with an Insta Charge. I got a Poffin. I already have a Totodile, I'm going to get 2 more Totodile. I'm going to go ahead and use Artisan to get a Munkidori, and I don't do this very often. I kind of like what I have in my hand, so I'm just going to hold what I have. I'm going to go ahead and attach to this Munkidori. I want to hold on to that B-Barrel, so we're just going to ride that out. They evolved a Charmander, attach and get an instant charge once more, which I don't think they mind falling behind with this deck. I go ahead and evolve to my B-Barrel and to my Croconaw. I'm going to go ahead and use my Nest Ball to get a Radiant Alakazam. I'm going to attach to my active. Then I'm just going to Iono. With Iono, you can see I get my Turbo Energize, which is very important to get that done on this turn. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Probably going to lose something on the next turn, but going to Turbo Energize and go ahead and get 2 energies on the Croconaw. I've already got one on Totodile, so he's pretty... I'll be able to attack with something next turn. They get to Pidgeot EX, Charizard EX, and go ahead and attack with the Entei to take their first prize. So I'm going to go ahead and send up the Croconaw. I'm going to use Artisan first, and I'm going to get a second Munkidori. Already got a Dark Energy on one with the Luminous Energy, so I'm going to get a second one on the, or Dark Energy on the second one. I'm going to play Irida and get Feraligatr and Ultra Ball. I'm going to evolve the Croconaw to Feraligatr. And we're going to Ultra Ball away a Candy and a Artisan Stadium and get a second Feraligatr, so we can rare candy to Feraligatr number 2. Then we'll be able to use B-Barrel to refill the hand. And with that, we did get that survival brace, which is perfect, so we're going to go ahead and use Torrential Heart. That's going to put 5 damage counters on Feraligatr. And activate his extra 120, which you don't really need, but it's important because it gets us that 50 damage that we can move over and start working on this Charizard. So we use both Munkidori to move that 50, which cleans Feraligatr completely off. We get the survival brace on him, and then we nuke that Entei. And from our prizes, we do get that Relicanth and another Luminous Energy. They rare candy to a second Charizard and only have 1 energy in the deck, so they promote the damaged Charizard, hit for 240 damage, but the brace does its job, and the Gatr lives with 10 HP remaining. And of course that burns the brace, so it goes to the discard pile. So I draw another Luminous Energy. I'm going to go ahead and start moving some of the damage off Feraligatr, so I'm going to use the first Munkidori to do that. Use the second one, do the same thing. This actually gets 60 off of him and onto that Charizard, so it cleans a little bit more off of him. Then we'll switch the Feraligatr out of the active spot, which is going to be able to reset Giant Wave. We'll send up that Munkidori with the 1 Dark Energy so we can retreat him. I'm going to attach a Luminous Energy to Feraligatr. I'm going to send back up the same Feraligatr. Then we're going to go ahead and use Torrential Heart to get the damage increase. We'll put 50 damage counters back on him, which doesn't matter at this point. Use Irida to go and get a Totodile, so I'm going to have a bench spot open on my next turn, and we'll get a Vessel. And go ahead and play the Vessel, get rid of this Poffin, we don't need that anymore. Get the last 2 energies out of the deck, the last 2 basic energies at least. And then we can Giant Wave for 280 and knock out the Charizard. And from our prize cards, we will get an Arven and a Rescue Board. Back on their turn, they get down a Charmander. They attach to that Radiant Charizard, bring him active, and then finish off my Feraligatr. So I'm going to send up my Feraligatr. I draw Alana's Aid, but I'm going to go ahead and use Artisan to get Relicanth on the bench so I can use my previous evolutions underneath that Gatr. See what we get off of B-Barrel, nothing really handy there, so we'll use Lana. Then we'll go ahead and get a Dark Energy and Water Energy, and go ahead and get a Feraligatr back. Not going to need the Feraligatr though, because we can attach the Dark to Munkidori. We're going to use Torrential Heart, get my 5 damage counters. And we're just going to target this Charmander. We're going to move with the first Munkidori 3 off of Feraligatr to that Charmander. And then second Munkidori, we'll do the other 2. It cleans off the Feraligatr. Alakazam can get a couple of those off of the Charizard EX. Move those 2 over and finish off that Charmander. Take a prize there. Get another Munkidori, which again we don't need. So we'll just use Feraligatr and do a boosted Big Bite. Knock out the Radiant Charizard, take the last prize card. The biggest negative thing about this deck is that it does lead to some long matches, and I do like to keep these videos at a reasonable length. I've got some quick ones where I get a second turn Feraligatr and knock out an EX, and then my opponent scoop, and those are not very exciting to watch. I've got some much longer games against Roaring Moon, Lost Box, some future stuff. I just played one last night with Logan against his 440 HP Torterra EX deck, which is pretty awesome. It was a very close win, but it took forever to do. I don't think either one of us had but 2 or 3 cards left in our deck at the end of that thing. I chose the match that I just showed you because it illustrates all aspects of the deck. The use of the A-Spec, the different ways to use Munkidori, and at the end dropping Relicanth to help take a knockout that I doubt my opponent expected. I wouldn't describe this deck as super complicated or next level or anything, but it does have quite a few moving pieces that require some practice, and most importantly, some patience to master. But I love single prize decks, and the fact that I've found one where I can use Feraligatr makes it so much sweeter. Help us out, interact with the channel any way you're willing. Give me a like, leave a comment, share the video, and if you find yourself coming back here, go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a dime. That's it for today. Until next time, be not afraid. Later.